Okay, so it started recording. So good morning to all of you. So come to this lecture 12. So mid-exam is for 30 marks on 30th August that you already aware of. So I need to tell about internal assessment, right? So, but many people are missing, right? Mahima, what happened? Why other people not yet joined? Sonali, Suresh. Yeah. So
Hello.
class is over, right?
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Hello.
Yeah, yes, please. Yeah, Sonali, I understood. You told already. Yeah. Mahima. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, yes, please. Mahima,
Yes.
go ahead.
So actually, we have just ended our lecture. That's why they are
Right.
coming.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they need some break also, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me start and repeat again. So midterm exam is for 30 marks. That is on 30th August that we are already aware of. The syllabus is that the first, second, third, fourth, fifth chapters are, right? And in that also few topics, few sections I'm not covering. 1 or 2 sections I'm not covering. That I'll tell you. Internal exam is for 20 marks, right? In these 20 marks, I'm dividing that X plus Y marks. X marks are for the presentation, right? So X marks are there for the presentation and Y marks for the Viva. If somebody not at all interested to take presentation, then entire 20 marks is for the Viva only. So X plus Y is equal to 20 and Y greater than 0. Y greater than 0 means Viva, at least everyone has to attempt the Viva. Okay. If your presentation, that is reading plus half an hour presentation plus solving few problems related to that topic. If it is a big topic, then 15 marks allotted to that topic and 5 marks for a Viva. Even I can go little above also, 18, okay, 19 even, okay. So Namke Vaste, you will come to Viva, I will ask few questions and you can leave. So your presentation topic is bigger one and challenging and you do more things, then I'm happy that your Viva will be very, very nominal. Okay, this part is clear. So now what are the topics, right? So what are the topics for this Viva? Right? So in the 5.2, Fermat's factorization method. Okay. So this is topic in the 5th chapter. I'm not covering now. Okay. So some of you can take. So when I'm not covering now, that means that I will not ask questions on this in the exam also, this coming mid exam. Okay. But somebody else can take this topic. I'm telling section. Entire section you can read from the textbook and you are explaining instead of me. Okay. So section 6.4 is perpetual calendar. So how to create calendar up to 2050. So number theory is very useful for that. Okay. So very interesting topic again. Okay. How people will create, right? You see that in the online, if you type it, you will get a calendar for 2050 also. How this is happening. That is given in the textbook. That is section 6.4. Now 7.5 is application to cryptography. So in this particular topic, even 2 persons can join. It's a big topic. So 2 persons can join and also can take. Like that, I'm leaving certain things. 10.2 is search for perfect numbers. 10.3 medicine primes. 10.4 Fermat prime numbers. Okay. 11.1 is for Pythagorean triples. Okay. So 11.2 is Fermat's last theorem. So again, this can be taken by 2 students. Sum of 2 squares, sum of 3 squares and 4 squares. Okay. And Fibonacci numbers. So Fibonacci numbers is there is a chapter on Fibonacci numbers. 13.1 is one section, 13.2 is another section. Okay. So finite continued fractions, infinite continued fractions, Pell's equation, right? So very, very beautiful, nice topics actually. And then primality testing and factorization. application to factorization by remote coin flip-flopping, prime number theorem, and there is a 19th one particular chapter, miscellaneous problems completely. So there also you can take some problems and you can do. Okay, so what is that you had to do? So for example, somebody took 13.1 Fibonacci numbers, right? Then Fibonacci numbers, what are Fibonacci numbers are explained in that section, and some solved problems are there that you can, so entire that you can explain. Already solved problems, explaining is also easy to the class. And there are some exercise problems, those you will do and submit to me. So if you do more and more problems from the exercise problem, then automatically, so this number increases, x value increases, x plus y equal to 20, x बढ़ जाएगा. Okay, so presentation is for 10 marks, like that I'm thinking. If you are solving more and more exercise problems, then 1 plus 11, 12, 13, like that, it goes on increasing. Okay, so, and you are becoming part of teaching now because of this. Okay, so one of the beauty of elementary number theory by Burton book is that, main thing is that, so first, whatever all the required things they covered in the first 9 chapters, means for example, GCD, LCM, even division algorithm, well ordering principle ke saath. Okay, then these are the important things, right? Bezoart's identity, of course, before that GCD concept is there. Afterwards, we have things like prime numbers, then congruences. Then afterwards, we have primitive roots. There is a concept that I am teaching again. And there is a quadratic residues that I am teaching again. So these are the main ingredients to do further things. Luckily, these are the first 9 chapters. Afterwards, all are related to applications of these things only. You do not need any other extra things to do remaining chapters. That is the beauty. So all other topics can be covered once you are comfortable with this, right? That's why I liked this book. And one more aspect is that we are doing together. If you choose these topics, so we are doing together, we are trying to complete entire book. Okay, so in the examinations also, maximum possible times I will take up the exercise problems. But somebody easily can check, right? In the online solution book is also maybe available, right? So that's why I will little change the question, so that if you solve those problems, you can do that. Okay, yeah. So, but I will ask from the exercise problems only, maximum. So it is because so many questions are there. So in our life, at least you are completing MSc, you are going to complete in another after next semester. So in your life, at least you need to do one book from top to bottom. It is not like that in this semester you have to do it. It's okay. Now you liked the book, you liked the topics. So make it a target and complete later. It is a wonderful book. You are acquiring slowly things. So in future, you will get complete confidence that I can do this book. Doing this book means you are doing each and every exercise problem. That is lacking in India. In India, people are not going to do exercise problems. They only read the theory, and with that, the subject is over. That is not correct. Okay, you have to do the exercise problems. Whenever you are solving an exercise problem, lot of confidence will come to you. That is the study. That is the thing. Okay, you do group study, discuss. Okay, so that is the reason that I will promote you to do exercise problems. So in the examinations also I will ask exercise problems, but little tweet, so that because it's online exams and all, people are cheating actually. I'm sorry for that to say. Yeah, so right now people are getting more marks. Earlier they not use it to get. Okay, so this is the time people has to help us, but they are not doing that. It is a time they should not cheat. When you are before us, you are cheating, that is your skill, right? But when we are not there, cheating is easy, right? That is the time we should not do. Okay, when you are doing before us, it is challenging us. Okay, that is okay. I'm not saying you have to cheat at that time also. You should not do it both the times, but this is the time you should cooperate us actually completely, right? Yeah, anyhow. Sorry, I will not talk about that further. So is it clear to you? Internal assessment is clear to you, Pratik Singh? You joined little later, Mahima, Kaustubh. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So
Okay. Great.
we can take any of these topics, right?
Yeah, any of this, but you should not be repeat. One person
have to
cannot take.
confirm.
Yeah, you need to confirm. So make it fast. I mean, in the sense that if you're not happy with these topics, I can give other topics also. Do not worry about that. I can give another 20 topics. Okay, but these are why these are I am telling. These are available in the textbook. Right? So textbook you already may have downloaded or somewhere, right? Yeah. So also it depends on, right? You see that as version changes, section 5.2 may become 5.3 or even 6.1. Okay. So I am sorry. From some textbook I am quoting, some edition I am quoting these sections, but topic also I wrote. So what is that I want to say? Now you have content is also with you. You no need to look at for the content. Is it okay, Kaustubh? Is it clear?
Yes, sir, yes.
Yeah.
And when the presentation is going to be due?
So that is once. So what is that I want to say that by September 5th. So you know September 5th is Teachers' Day. So September 5th, you have to select the topic. Okay, I will list again all these things in the chat also in the Google Classroom. So not only here. So for example, you choose a topic today itself, then other people cannot take it, right? So go it fast. So it will be easy for you. Okay, but don't worry.
Okay,
Don't worry, I will be there. I can give more questions. For example, I asked one question in the Google Classroom. The question is that, so which natural numbers can be written as sum of two or more consecutive natural numbers? You remember that question? You may forget, but I put a PDF file also to make it more clear, right? So Amya is missing today. So Rutuja, you know that question? I asked that every natural number can be written as sum of two or more squares.
Yes.
Consecutive, right? So that question also you can take. That is not listed here, right? And like that, I can ask more questions there. That also you can choose. Now onwards, I will start adding questions there as well. Okay, right. And you need any help also after this? I'll ready to do. So Kaustubh, is it clear now? Everything?
yes, completely.
Yes. Okay, great. So see, already here 19 topics are there. In these 19 also, I'm telling that, for example, cryptography, 2 of you can take also. So there is a 7.5 applications of cryptography, 2 persons can take that. So you can divide the work and you can do it. Okay. Yeah, so that is also there with you. So Fermat's Fibonacci numbers, 2 sections, so 2 persons can take and interact and collaborate and do it. Okay, so if you want, you can divide the presentation also. Entire day those 2 students present. It is not that 13.1 I only cover. So if you 2 people together take it, then you can go slowly. 13.1 both can take, 13.2 both can take, like collaborative you can do. Okay. Yes. So in fact, this is also very big. For example, finite continued fractions, infinite continued fractions, Pell's equation. These are also very big. Okay, but I will tell you at that moment, together or not together and all. But right now you have total 19 are there. Okay, you people are only 12 people are there total. So one person, one topic is already there here. Other than that, I can give more topics. Okay. So for example, I told you one of the problem that coin exchange problem. You remember? Any one of you remember coin exchange problem? You forgot? Kaushik is here. Kaushik. Okay. Coin exchange problem is that I have 3 rupee coins and 5 rupee coins. What is that I can purchase when you go to market, right? I have 3 rupee coins and 5 rupee coins. What is the largest number which I cannot purchase? See, you can, so I'll repeat the question. It is called, so somebody can take it also, now also. What is the question? That is also available in Wikipedia. You type coin exchange problem, you'll get it. What is the problem? I have a 3 rupee coins and 5 rupee coins. What is that I can purchase? What is that I cannot purchase? Is it okay, Kaustav?
Yes, sir.
For example, can I purchase an item of 3 rupees?
Yes, sir.
How can you purchase with 3 rupees only? You have only 3 rupee coins and 5 rupee coins.
3 rupee coins I have. So
I am giving you unlimited supply of 3 rupee coins and 5 rupee coins. Unlimited supply, infinite. You have a bag that contains 3 rupee coins and 5 rupee coins. You went to a market. One item is cost 8 rupees. Can you purchase that item?
yes, sir.
With how you can purchase?
1 5 rupee coin, 1 3 rupee.
Right. That's what. Can you purchase an item of 2 rupees? Item
No.
cost is 2 rupees. How do you purchase?
No, I cannot purchase.
You cannot purchase, right? That is the question. Okay. Can you purchase a 7? An item is 7. Some item cost is 7 rupees. Can you purchase?
No, sir.
No. Right? 8 you can purchase. 8 you already told. 9 can be purchased.
Yes, sir.
How?
3 coins of 3 rupees.
Okay. How you can purchase a 10?
No, sir.
You cannot purchase 10. You have 3 rupee coins, 5 rupee coins. One item cost is 10 rupees. You cannot purchase.
Oh, yes, sir. Two 5 rupees coins.
2 5 rupee coins. See, now you see that what are these 8, 9, 10? They are consecutive.
Oh, yes, sir.
So now I can purchase everything from 8 onwards. Why? See, for example, some item is 11, right? 11 means what? 8 plus 3.
Yes, sir.
8 I already purchased. So one more 3 if I add, I'll purchase the 11 also. Are you following my point?
Yes, sir.
What about 12?
I can part 12.
12 also we can do because 9 I already purchased. So I can purchase 12 also. Right. So now onwards, everything can be purchased. Are you able to see that, Kaustav?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So now what is largest item I cannot purchase?
Two rupees?
No. 2 you cannot purchase. 4 can you purchase?
No.
7.
Oh, 7.
7 is the largest you cannot purchase. That is the number. That is called Frobenius number. That number is called Frobenius number. Frobenius number means largest number that cannot be purchased. Luckily, thing is that after some stage, everything can be purchased. Okay, we need to prove that, but the proof is only by division algorithm. Very simple. Yeah. So, but again, one more thing I want to tell you that, see, there is a formula also. When 2 numbers are there, there is a formula, but 3 numbers onward, there is no formula. It is still open problem. See, when I purchase with two coins, if I do, when 3 coins, it is much, you think that it is easier, but what is the largest item we cannot purchase with 3 coins is tough actually. I gave you 3 rupee coins as 5 rupee coins as well as 11 rupee coins. Then you know that it is less than 7, less than or equal to 7, but you cannot even know that. Okay, so 11 is not going to help us. Right? For example, if I say 3, 5, 7, then what happens? Now 7 also I can purchase, no? 3, 5, 6, 3, 5, only using 3, 5, excluding 7, I can purchase 8 onwards. Now I am giving you 7 rupee coins also, I can purchase 7. What is the largest item I cannot purchase now? With 3, 5, 4. Right? Great. But still, if I give some numbers, 3 numbers, so it is still open. No one give the formula. So if A and only 2 coins are given, there is a formula actually to find out that in terms of A and B. Are you understand the problem, Kaustav?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So this is called coin exchange problem. Like that, I have many other problems which are not listed here. I can give them those also. Okay. Yeah. So, but these are actually, everything is available. So very clean and clear. Okay. Okay, fine. So I'm now going forward. So many people are not joined today. I don't know, but I have to continue. Okay. So any doubts in this regarding? So by September 5th, you have to decide the topic. Okay. September 5th, you have to decide the topic, and then afterwards presentations will start after 10 days. Okay. I will talk to them. I will talk to them and I'll give you the dates and everything. Okay. So now you have to prepare for exam, right? So exam preparation, how many of you are actually started? I don't know, but I want to test it today, right? I want to test you today. So there is a problem here. If GCD of a square plus a square plus GCD of a square comma b square equal to 1, then GCD of a comma b equal to 1. How many of you able to do this question? I'll clear it and again you tell me. I'll clear it. Yeah. Now can you tick it if you're able to prove this? Okay. So Ishan is the only person. See, is it question is you not understood the question? How many of you understood the question? Can you tick now? How many understood the question? Only 2 people. Why? What is the problem in understanding the question? If GCD of a square comma b square equal to 1, then GCD of a comma b equal to 1. Mahima, what happened? Why you are not understanding the question? Where you are facing problem in understanding the question? Mahima, Suresh, Sonali.
Sir, Mahima has some microphone issues. Sir.
Okay,
That's why
fine. That's okay. I understand that. Yes, I know that. Otherwise, she will respond by this time. Okay, you understand the problem, right? Great. Okay. So see, that's what I want to tell you, that problems are easy to state. When proof comes, it is now once proof is given, now you will feel that so how simple it is, right? Okay, see, but I want to tell you that so now I am telling you that this problem is given before the primes are introduced. Now we discussed primes also. So now you can use it. That is the reason for I am giving this. You can use the primes also to prove this, because I already covered. Okay. I'm not saying that you have to do without using primes. You can use primes also. Okay. Yeah. So now let us see how to do this problem. Okay. So Ishan, you go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
One thing I want to use is that if AB, the GCD is 1, if and only if AX plus BY equal to 1 for
some x and y. Okay. This implies there exists x comma y belongs to Z such that a square x plus b square y is equal to 1. Yeah.
Yeah, and then this you can write as A times AX plus B times BY.
Very good. See, he is not using prime numbers, right? A times AX plus B times BY is equal to 1. Beauty, see? That is the thing. That gives a lot of confidence to you. See, now we done the, now we have that AZ1 plus BZ2 is equal to 1. Right? So whenever we have this, we proved that GCD of A comma B equal to 1. Right? Now, are you not feeling sad? Why I am not tried this? Okay. So once you got the proof, then it is, there is no, so even forget also, you will forget later also. So that is one of the problem in India. In mathematics, people are trying to recall things. Recalling is not mathematics. You know the proof. So if you ask somebody, na, so I am unable to recall, sir, I done it very long time before. Okay. So that is not mathematics. So, okay, I'll try, sir. Okay, I'll try like that. You need to proceed. Okay. See, so how many of you understand the proof now? So this part is clear, right? We done this. How many of you understand now? Great. Okay, great. So most of you are clear with. So I hope now can you do it? Now I'm clearing. Now if I replace a square b square by a power n b power n equal to 1, then also GCD of a comma b equal to 1. Easy to see. I'll tell you another way to do this. Okay. That is what I'm telling you. You can use primes and other things. Okay. So my intention to say today is that you can do that way also. See, I want to do that a comma b GCD is equal to d. 1. Now claim is d is equal to 1. Suppose prove by contradiction. Suppose d is greater than 1. So somebody help me. What I next step? Sorry. Somebody help me. What is the next step? Whenever you see d greater than 1, what is that you recall? Yeah, go ahead.
There's a prime that's going to divide. A as well as
See, this is one of the beautiful thing. That's I want to tell you. These small techniques will help you a lot. Whenever we have an integer which is greater than 1, there exists a prime. There exists a prime p. So p divides d. Okay. Now you know that. So I want to show d GCD of d equal to 1, right? Now this means that already I know that. So now this p divides a as well as p divides b from this, right? D is a GCD, d dividing a, d dividing b. Now p is a prime dividing d, so p divides a and p divides b. Then automatically p divides a square and so no, nothing here. I'm just but writing p divides b square also, right? Then GCD of a square comma b square is somebody open up. Not Ishan. No. Yeah. Somebody can tell what is GCD of a square comma b square? Shivani. Rutuja. P is dividing a square, p is dividing b square. Then what we can say about GCD of a square comma b square? Manan.
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you p divides a square, p divides b square. Then I'm asking what you can say about a GCD of p square, a square comma b square. It's open question. Yeah, Shubhamay, go ahead.
It will be p square. It will be p square, right?
Greater than equals to p.
Greater than or equal to p. This you can say easily. Don't worry much. Okay, you are correct actually. See, Shubhamay is telling something. So he is telling something very nice actually. So he is telling that it is greater than or equal to p square. What is telling that when p divides a square, he is claiming that p square also divides a square. So it's very beautiful. Are you able to prove this? P divides a square implies p square divides a square. But you should not say equal to, right? That's my intention to ask this question is that you should not. Many times people conclude that a square comma b square GCD equal to p. No. So I do not know. Still p divides means it is greater than or equal to p. But Shubhamay is telling that. So p divides a square, then p square also divides a square, right? So why this is? I am not going to ask you now. Okay, this I already discussed with you. P divides b square implies p square also divides b square. That is the beauty of the prime numbers. Okay, then it is greater than or equal to p square also you can tell, and but already you have that a square comma b square GCD is greater than or equal to p. This is sufficient for me because I already gave a square comma b square GCD is 1. Okay, so I am asking more questions, but actually proof is simple. So I want to show that GCD of a comma b is 1. I took it d. If d greater than 1, there is a prime which divides d. So then it divides a and b. It divides a square and b square. That is a contradiction because g square comma a square comma b square GCD is 1, right? I am telling that you can use primes also to prove. That is the intention of asking this question today. So otherwise, this without using is a skill. very much skill. That is that you are using the Bezoart's identity again. Yeah, so great. Okay, good. Okay, now today we'll start a new topic now onwards. Okay, so see that number of students are decreased further. Okay, and out of these 11, 3 of us are we only. Okay, so basically there are only 8 students are there. So this is the problem happening in online teaching. So it is very, very difficult for me to remember who is coming, who is missing. In the physical, I can understand that. Somebody is not there, I know that that student is not there today. Okay. Okay, so the topic, first topic today is that linear congruences. Linear congruence equation. Linear congruence. Linear congruence equation or equations. So what is this is that let n be a natural number. Let n be a natural number. A comma b belongs to integers. Okay. Then I'm looking for solutions of this equation. Ax congruent to b modulo n. Okay. So what are the solutions of this? Okay. So I'll make it clear. So for example, a is equal to 1. Okay. My b is also equal to 1. My n is equal to 2. Okay. My n is equal to 2. So what are the solutions of that equation? That is x is congruent to 1 modulo 2. Okay. So somebody can give me one solution to this. Manan, go ahead fast. Manan, x equal to 1 mod 2. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
One solution. Just give me one solution.
Sir, x equals to 1 mod 2.
Yeah, this is x equal to 1 mod 2. Give me one solution. Give me one value for x such that it is true. What is the meaning of this? 2 divides?
3.
Why you went for 3? I am not understanding. Three is correct, but can you improve your question? So I am thinking that you will tell that first.
1.
1, yeah. X equal to 1 is a solution. Okay. X equal to 1 is a solution. Now 3 is also solution. Can you tell me how many solutions are there for this problem? Hello. Yeah, Mehak. Mehak, go ahead.
Yes, sir. It has infinitely many solutions.
Okay, what are those, Mehak?
All the odd integers.
Very good. How do you get it? So because 2 divides x minus 1, what is the meaning of that? There exists a k belong to integer such that
X minus 1 equals to 2 times k.
2 times k. That is nothing but x equal to 2k
2k
plus
plus 1.
These are all odd integers, right? So, but see, so now 3 is congruent to which number modulo 2? When I divide 3 by 2, what is the remainder I will get?
1.
1. So see, if I take 5, 1 only.
1.
So all these are giving remainder 1. Okay. So I am looking that instead of, so it has infinite number of solutions. I am looking the solutions from up to 2 only. So somewhere I am writing, but okay. So I am looking up to 2 only, right? Up to 2 means, so 0 or 1. Okay. Now if I have one of these are the solution, then I will check that all other solutions I can find out. So that is telling that So the 1 is also a solution, 3 is also a solution, but 3 is congruent to 1 modulo 2. Okay. 5 is also congruent to 1 modulo 2. So basically I have only one solution. Okay. So basically one solution means that up to congruence. Up to congruence, there is only one solution. Okay. So they are called incongruent solutions. I will explain you with one more example so that it will you understand that what is my meaning. So you know, if some people can now think of that basis in the vector spaces. Okay, I'll explain. I'll come back to that. So I'll give one more example so that it will be clear to you. So now I am telling you that my problem is this. So 4x is congruent to 2 modulo 6. Okay, 4x is congruent to 2 modulo 6. So Shivani, can you give me one solution to this?
Well, x is equals to 1 is one solution.
No, x equal to 1 is not a solution. Go slowly.
Hello.
0, for example, if you substitute 4 into 0, 0 congruent to 2 mod 6. When
Yes.
6 divides 0 minus 2, that is not correct. When x equal to 1, it is 4 minus 2, that is 2. 6 does not divide 2, that is not correct. You give me one, don't worry.
Okay, yes. So we have 6 divides 4x minus 2.
That is okay, not all those things. Just give me one solution.
Just a second, sir.
And sir, the solutions are integer solutions, right?
Okay, so
Yeah, integers only. We are looking integer solutions only. I want an integer which satisfies this.
Minus 1.
In the number theory, we are integers only. We are working with integers only. There is nothing.
5 could be a solution then.
So minus 1.
Okay. Minus 1 is not a solution. Yeah, 1 minute. Minus 1 is a solution. Okay. But see, so that is the reason. You need to, again, Manan, you are telling something I am not looking for. Okay, I'll come back to you.
Yes.
Shivani, tell me one solution. All other people are telling. Give me one solution, Shivani.
Two.
2. Okay.
X is equals to 2 is the
Yeah,
solution.
x equal to 2 is a solution, right? X
Yes,
equal
sir. I'm saying x is equals to 2 is the solution.
Okay, x equal
Hello?
to 2. Yes, we are listening.
Hello?
Yes, we are listening, Shivani. Yes,
Yes.
x equal to 2. Can you give me one more? Somebody told already, but yeah. Shivani, can you give me one more?
Okay.
Okay, so other people?
4 is the solution.
4 is
Yes,
solution.
4 is also a solution.
Please check 4 into 4 is 16. 16 minus 2, 14. 6 divides 14.
Sir, 4 is one solution.
That's what I'm telling Shivani. 4 is not a solution. 4 into 4 is 16.
5. Sorry, 5.
So x equal to 2 and x is equal to 5
Yeah,
are the solution.
5.
Yeah. So what do you mean by
Yes, sir, 5 is a solution.
right?
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. If the 5 is a solution, is 5x plus 6 also a solution?
Sir, I'm saying 5 is a solution.
Yes, Shivani. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Shivani. Okay, Shivani. Yeah. So x equal to 2. Now I'm asking every one of you, can you check the 2x plus 6 also a solution? Otherwise, I'll write k here if you have a problem. So is it all of you can check this? Hello? Manan, now can you go ahead? You are going very slow. Manan, fast, now fast.
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? Just tell me now. 2k plus 6, is it a solution or not? Go fast.
Yes, sir.
So if you substitute 2k plus 6 here, is it satisfying or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. So once 2 is a solution, then so there is a mistake I done, so you are not corrected it.
2x plus 5.
Yeah, 2x plus 5, 2x plus 5, 9. See, x plus 2 plus 6k I'm talking about. 6 divides 4x minus 2, na?
Right, sir.
See, what is that I'm telling? 2 is a solution, then 8 is also a solution. So can you check it? So that is 4 into 2 plus 6. Okay. So 4 into 6 is anyhow 0 hai. 4 into 6 is 0. Modulo 6 karte to ye 0 ho gaya. So 2 plus 6k is also a solution. Okay. Are you okay with everyone? So once we got one solution, then all of them are solutions. So now this implies that 5 plus 6k is also a solution for every k. Okay. Now what about this 5 and 6? Is it 5 is congruent to 2 modulo 6?
No, sir.
So basically how many solutions are there?
Two.
There are 2 solutions, incongruent. These are called incongruent solutions. 2, 5 are solutions, but they are incongruent solutions. If I take any other solution, then they are congruent to either 2 or 5. 2 and 5 are incongruent solutions. Why 2 and 5 only I am restricting? So I am taking from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I divide any number by 6, then the remainder is, you are not revising, that's why you are facing problems. See, that is
Sir,
one
can
of
I
the
ask
major
something,
problems.
please?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir, if I know that the GCD, those many
No,
incongruent
that I'm
solutions-
not going. That is so sorry. Please wait. Yeah, for that
No, I'm
I
not asking that. I'm asking how do you know without that? How do you know that these are the only two?
No, I'm not telling that. I'm telling first that, okay, I'm checking, I'm checking from 0 to 5. In this particular problem, I can check, right?
Okay, yes.
So it's a small case, I can check it. That's what next question is that, yes, exactly. Later, I will ask that question. Okay, I substituted 0, not satisfied. 1, not satisfied. 2, yes, satisfied. So this is one guy.
Yes,
So
I
3,
understand.
3 not satisfied. 4 not satisfied, right? So 5 satisfied. Okay, then these two are the solutions, but we know that they are between 0 and bit less than 6, so they cannot be congruent. But next something will come, they are automatically congruent to 2. So next 7 is not a solution, I know, because 1 is not a solution, so 7 is not also not a solution. If 7 is a solution, then I'll get a problem, right? Now 8 is a solution because 2 is already a solution, and 8 automatically a solution. So that's why I no need to look at that beyond these, right? I need to only look from 0 to 6 only. That is the idea. So between how many will be there? That is the question mark, right? Yeah. So how do you know that? So that is the point that actually Ishan told. Okay, this is what I want to actually keep secret sometime. I hope you understand, Ishan.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's okay. I'm just telling you that. See the. Okay. Great. Yeah. Okay. Fine. So now one more thing to look at. So now he told GCD or something. So how it is coming? So let us look at it another way. Okay. So this is very similar to that this equation. So x minus y is equal to 0. So where x comma, so I want to find set of all solutions of this, right? It is like a comma b belongs to R2 such that a minus b is equal to 0. I'm looking all the solutions, right? So somebody can tell me how do you get all the solutions? I'm erasing. So do you know how do you get all the solutions? You let me know. What is the entire solution set? Be fast here. Why you are so late? What are all solutions? You know, right? You know the solutions. So you know the line. Yeah, Mehak, go ahead.
Sir, all the integers.
No, I'm not telling integer now, real numbers now. So I'm going to vector spaces or subspaces or whatever. So can you tell me all the solutions of x minus y equal to 0? Yeah, Kaustubh, go ahead.
Minus k and k, where k is a real number. It is
Y
one
minus k. Can you give me one solution to this actually?
0, 0.
0, 0. One more.
Minus 1, 1.
Why minus 1, 1? How it satisfy minus 1, 1?
Oh, sorry, 1, 1, 1.
1, 1. Okay, no problem. 1, 1. Okay, let some confusion to you. Okay, now are clear?
Yes, sir.
Now can one give me one more solution?
Minus 1, minus 1. That could be.
Yeah, so now what are all solutions? How do you write all the solutions? Yeah,
XX.
yeah, not XX. So let us say R comma R.
R comma R.
That says that R belongs to R.
Real number.
But this is, I can write it as R times how much?
1 comma 1.
1 comma 1, right? Such that R belongs to R. Okay. What is this 1 comma 1? Is also a solution. But now this is a subspace of R2. Okay. The set is subspace of R2. It is what? Can you tell me some way? Now do not worry about what is the question given. So when you look at like this, then what is that is equal to? Somebody can help me. So do not worry about this question now. When you look at from here on, so concentrate. R times 1, 1, R belongs to R. This can be written something in the vector spaces, the linear algebra.
Shall I answer?
No. We just wait.
Span of a standard basis.
Span of what? Not standard basis. Why standard basis? Okay, here you came to a correct point. You are giving hint to many people. Now somebody else can pick up from here. R times 1, 1, where all belongs to R. What is this now? How can I write this? Pratik, Rutuja, Suresh, Manan Takkar, Manan put Ched, but these are all you done.
So can I say?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, it will be just span of set 1, 1.
Very good. It is a linear span of. It is a linear span of the set. Okay, linear span. I am putting this bracket, and so it is so set containing only one element. Okay, this is a set and a linear span of S. It is all linear span of the single vector. It is linear span of single vector. Okay, so this vector I sufficient to know. I'll get all other vectors, just multiply that 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3 and all, right? So it is a basis. Like that here also I want to say that we are looking incongruent solutions only. Once I know one solution, any that number plus 6k also solution. So I need to only know incongruent solutions. So now the question comes that what are the questions we have? Question 1, whether are there any solutions, incongruent solutions? Are there any solutions first? Whether are there any solutions? Are there any solutions? Question number 1. Question number 2. So this is question number 1. So question number 2 is that how many incongruent solutions are there? I do not worry about how many incongruent solutions are there? Congruent. So somebody going for tea, Kaustubh. Okay, great. Some break is taking, great. Yeah, you can write like that, okay? When you are out of the place, so you can write, put this symbol. So other people cannot see. So Kaustubh put tea symbol, coffee cup symbol. Okay, great. Okay, how many incongruent solutions are there? Okay, these are the two questions. Okay, so we'll try to answer again. So I'll give you one question for that. So my question is that 4x is congruent to 2 modulo 3. I'll do one thing. Yeah, 4x is congruent to 1 modulo 2. So can you give me one solution to this? Hello, any one of you? I'll erase.
There is no solution possible, I think.
There is no solution possible, right? So there are linear congruence equation. They do not have solution. Okay, and whereas in the previous two problems we have solutions, and in the first question there is only one incongruent solution. In the second question there are two incongruent solutions. So naturally comes that how do you get it? How do you know it? Okay, what are the questions now? How do you know that given congruence has a solution? This does not have a solution. Why it does not have a solution?
Sir, 4x minus 1 cannot be equal to 2 in any case.
Yeah, no, that is okay. You have to tell that this is has a solution means 2 divides
4x minus 1.
So this is an odd number, right? This is an odd number, so 2 cannot divide this. So this never, whatever may be the x, does not have a solution. Okay, our 4x is odd, so it is automatically 0. One can other way to look at is that 0 is congruent to 1 modulo 2. Are you able to see this? Why from here to here I wrote? So 4x is divisible by 2. So it is actually basically this has a solution, then this has a solution. Okay. So why I am telling that you understand that if 2 divide this, I asked one question, you remember? N divides a minus b and n divides a if and only if. Very simple question, but it is very, very useful. Very simple, looking very easy, right? But I do not know that n divides a or n divides b, but I am giving this n divides a minus b, then n divides a if and only if n divides b. It looks very simple, but very wonderful, powerful result. Okay. So here 2 divides 4x minus 1, I am giving you, but 2 divides 4x, then 2 divides 1, that's a contradiction. So this we used earlier. So, right? Okay. So this is not possible. Now we actually going to the actual problem. So now general problem. Examples are, we have a lot of examples still now. Ax is congruent to b mod n. When this has a solution or not. So before going further, we'll do some do analysis. Okay, what do you mean by this, Manan? Suppose this is true, then what do you mean by this?
N divides ax minus b.
When n divides ax minus b. This implies what? Next.
Sir, first we can check that does this have any solution or not?
That is only we are doing. I am going to that
so
only.
N divides. So sir, if we can check that if it divides n divides b or not.
No. Okay, 1 minute. We'll go slowly. Let me keep wait sometime. So from here to here, what is the next step you tell? You will understand what I'm talking about. What is the next step from here to here?
So we can write it in equation form.
Yeah, there exists a k belongs to z. Very good. That is also interesting. See, divides you are converting into equation.
Yes.
There exists a k belong to Z such that
NK
ax
equals.
minus b is equal to n into k. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So instead of k, you do allow me to take y?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks. Okay, I'll take y. Okay. Okay, then do you allow me to take minus y?
Yes, sir. Anything.
Yeah, so means if I y is solution, then yeah, so I'll come back later, but it is not a big problem. So first I'll take plus y only, then later I'll change to minus y. Actually, so this is okay. So there is some y such that ax minus by is equal to ny. Okay, this implies what? This I can write ax minus ny is equal to b. So I wrote here. So y is some integer, then minus y is also an integer, right? I'll take minus y is equal to z. Okay, minus y is equal to z. Then this equation becomes ax plus nz is equal to b, right? Okay,
Yes, sir.
so what is that I done it? This equation, this is not an equation. This is a little different. So this so many things are there here. Okay, here actually we have infinite number of equations, one can say.
Yes.
Okay.
Congruence modulo.
It is exchanges, another k will come, right? So but whereas this is an equation, see, I converted congruence to an equation, see here. But while I converting, something came, a new variable came, variable came. A and A, B, N are fixed, X is a variable here. But now suddenly new variable came. But what is this equation?
Linear equation.
Linear equation. So you know about linear equation, linear Diophantine equation. So earlier we done this. Okay, if you revise things, you will realize that. Okay, when this has a solution. So can I go backwards? I'm asking a question. If I have this one, ax plus nz is equal to b, implies what? I'm telling that ax is congruent to b mod n. Is it correct? I'm going backwards. Is it correct?
Yes, sir. We can go.
Yeah, it is because ax minus b is equal to minus nz, so n into something, so n divides, right?
Yes.
So see, what is happening is that I'm telling is that so ax is congruent to b mod n is same as so ax plus by is equal to n. Sorry, what is a mistake I done? Can somebody complete it?
So ax plus nz equal to b.
Yeah, ny equal to b. Now z y z. Okay, so discussion ho gaya. I can bring directly n y. So equal to b. So solutions. So this has a solution if and only if this has a solution. Okay, but this is a congruence and this is a linear equation. This is a congruence equation. This guy is congruence equation. And this is linear equation. Ishan, are you here?
Yes, I am here.
See, so when I teach first time, I do not understand, I do not thought of this way. Okay, Ishan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When I teach second time, I realized that, okay, I can convert it into equation like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whatever I happened in my life, how I realized things, I want to tell to students also.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that is my intention here. Okay, anyhow.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, right.
Here Ry is some number, right? That there exists. It is.
No, it is not like that. See, so try to understand here. So here x is a variable, na?
Yes, sir.
So
this, y also varies. Yeah.
Y also vary, right? Depending upon that. Okay, so now you know about linear Diophantine equation. Very good. Thanks, Kaustubh. Yeah, these are the questions we need to ask. Okay, now ax plus 1 ny equal to b, when this has a solution. Yeah, you remember? We completely solved it.
A comma
Ah.
and GCD is
Yes, A comma and GCD.
B.
Mehak, go ahead, Mehak.
So GCD of A comma N divides with B.
Very good. Thank you, Mehak. You saved my life actually. But these are the things I discussed very so A comma N divides B. So this as a solution if and only if GCD of A comma N divides B. Easy to see. See, if A comma N GCD is equal to D, what is the meaning of that? D divides A, D divides N. So D divides any their combination. So D divides B also. So this is a necessary condition. But we proved sufficient also. If GCD divides, then converse also true. But this is easy to see. So again, when you face difficulty, then how it is? Check it immediately. Do not worry about that. Do not recall previous thing. Okay, how it is happening? Why SR is telling GCD of A comma N divides B. A comma N GCD D, then D divides A, D divides N. D divides AX plus NY. So D divides B. So this is a necessary condition for this has a solution. Okay. Then automatically here also this is necessary condition. Okay. So the first condition required is that GCD of A comma N has to divide B. Then only this has a congruence has a solution. Now let us go back and see. So now I'll ask you one question so that it is easy for you, right? So now you can you construct, one of you can construct an equation which does not have a solution now, congruence equation. I am clearing. Now create, now you be creative. Give one congruence equation such that it does not have a solution. Yes. That means you have to create A comma and GCD and that does not divide B. Yeah, Ishan, go ahead.
So 4x plus 4x congruent to 1 mod 2.
Yeah, this already I gave. One
Okay,
more.
I can tell you another one.
Yeah.
We'll just make it 6x.
6x is congruent to
1 mod 2.
Oh, this is also easy, but somewhat complicated example. Yes, yeah, correct. The reason here is that
or even mod 3.
Mod 3, you can give one. Yeah, okay, let us go. Okay, I'll give you now. I will give you these things. This here I'll give you. Now give me here.
9x.
Yeah, so you can, once you fix here, once these two are fixed, I can cook here, right? Right. Somebody else now? Somebody else now give me one with different numbers completely all together. Does not have a solution. Please come on, yeah. What is this? Pratik, come up. Okay, I'll tell you here. I'll take 2 here. I take mod 5 here. Now come up. Yeah, Kaustav, go ahead. You want to give something new, give. Otherwise, you can answer to this also. Anything is okay with me.
Yeah, this has no solution yet.
No. So now you would give me some number here, something here, so that it does not have a solution.
So 7x.
Very good. 7x, no, not it has a solution.
Oh, to this. So
why it has a solution? You tell me that also.
the GCD of 7 and 5 is 1, so 1 divides 2.
See, without actually solving, we came to know that it has a solution. Now, can you give me the solution to this? Between 0 to 4 only we need to check. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 only. Because afterward they are congruent to that.
So
No, I am asking you, give me one solution to this. 7x is congruent to 2 mod 5. It has a solution. Give me one.
1.
1, yes. 7 into 1 is 7. 7 minus 2, 5. So 5 divides this, right? Great.
Yes.
It has a solution. But are there any other? 2 into 7 into 2, 14. 14 minus 2, 12. Does not. 7 into 3,
21.
21. Minus 2. No.
No.
7 into 4, 28. 28 minus 2, 26. No. So only this is the only guy solution. Okay. But once this is a solution, any 5k plus 1 is also solution. Okay. You can substitute that. For example, if I put 11, what is 11 into 7? 77. 77 minus 2. Sorry. 77 minus 2, 75 is a solution. Is it okay? Is it okay, Mehak?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now can you give me one solution, one equation, Mehak, a congruence equation that does not have a solution?
Eight x is congruent to 1 mod 2.
8x. So that is actually same you are imitating. So it is like a coaching class. 8x is congruent to 1 mod, 4x is congruent to 1 mod 2, 6x is congruent to 1 mod 2, 8x is congruent to 1 mod 2. So instead of that, more creative, give one more different. Yeah. Yeah. Give me one more, Mehak. Mahima Yadav, Pratik, Ankita, give me one. You do not want to participate at all. You do not want to just listen only. That is the only thing you want. Teaching means. Rutuja and Suresh, they put Z. So I cannot ask them. Yeah, Shubhamoy.
Sir, yes, 9x minus 2. Sorry, 9x.
Congruent to 2.
Sorry, sir, 9x. ऐसे minus 9x congruent to 2 mod 4.
4.
Yes.
Is it has a solution or no solution?
No solution.
No solution. Why? Why it does not have a solution? So let us see. Now it is modulo 4. Modulo 4. So I had to look for 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Right? What is 9 into 2?
18.
18 minus 2. Yeah. It has a solution. X equal to 2 satisfies. Shubhamoy, can you give me one more?
Mod 3.
That is okay, but why this here? Why you got a solution? Can you tell me that?
GCD is 1.
Which GCD of kiska GCD 1?
9 and 4.
9 and 4. Great. 9, 4 GCD 1, that is dividing 2. Whenever these two numbers GCD is 1, okay. So when you have AX congruent to B modulo N, okay, and the A and B GCD is 1, I no need to check even that divides B or not. Are you following that? 1 automatically divides every number. Whenever I have this A comma B, A comma N GCD is equal to 1, then automatically this has a solution. I don't need to check at all. Immediately I can conclude. But how many solutions are there for this problem? We are going very slow. I'm very yeah, how many solutions are there for this? So one is a solution. Again, remember that solution matlab incongruent solutions only. Number of incongruent solutions. So now 2 is a solution. So 4x plus 2 is also a solution. Remember 4k plus 2. See, 2 is a solution. I can substitute any number here. 4k plus 2, that also satisfies. Okay, that is easy to check. Yeah.
Sir, so I was going to say infinite many solutions.
No, do not go into that. But tell me here itself in this problem, how many solutions are there? So 1 is not a solution, right? So 2 is a solution, right? So 0 is not solution, 1 is not solution, 3 is not solution. How many incongruent solutions are there? Shubhamoy? Only one,
Only one, sir.
right? Yeah. Okay, now go ahead. You tell me now.
Uh, then then the example should be, if I modified 9x congruent to 2 mod 3.
2 mod 3. Okay, but this is also we gave already earlier, this type of problem. Okay, but 9 comma 3 GCD is 3. That does not divide 2. That is a necessary condition. So it does not have a solution. Does not have solution. Correct. Correct. Okay. Now question to Ishan now. Ishan, right? So give me an equation, congruence equation. It has 3 solutions, 3 incongruent solutions. Yeah, somebody asked a question. So who is that? Yeah, tell.
Me only. I actually wanted to ask, can you give a geometric reason as to, so when you mentioned that span since then I've been thinking of some discrete vector space kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, but I do not want to go at this juncture. People will. This one has to go first.
Okay.
You are correct that you can draw a line and we are looking only integer points which satisfies or not. That is a wonderful thing. 100% agree with you. But I want to complete also certain things, right?
Yeah, so you asked for one which has 3 incongruent solutions, right?
3 incongruent solutions.
So this one that you've written 9x congruent to 2, this itself has 3 incongruent solutions.
No, it does not have solution. This does not have a solution. Actually.
Okay, sorry, I thought that was 3. 9x congruent to 3. Sorry. 9x congruent to 3 mod 3.
Okay, let us take 9x is, but this is very, very trivial problem.
Okay, so can I tell you why
No,
I
no,
said...
okay. Well, why it has 3 solutions, incongruent solutions? What are those incongruent solutions? What are those incongruent solutions?
0, 1, 2.
0, 1, 2. That means once 0 is a solution, then what is the other solutions? It has 3k. Also a solution. Once 1 is a solution, what are other solution to this?
3k plus 1.
3k plus 1 is also a solution. Once 2 is a solution, what are the solutions? 3k plus 2. Now all the integers of the form 3k are solutions. All the integers of the form 3k plus 1 are also solutions. All the integers of the form 3k plus 2 are also solutions. Then what happens? Every integer is a solution to this, right? Why that is happening? Because 3 divides 9x minus 3. It is independent of the x. Whatever the x you choose, so all the solutions. So that's why I'm telling that try to give some sort of non-trivial problem. Is it okay, Ishan?
Yeah. Okay.
But this is good. This is good that to understand that why this has every integer is a solution to this, and understanding the congruences. So I don't know how much one has to do more than this to help the student to understand. Okay, anyhow, I'm still fine. Yeah, so Ishan, go ahead, ask some questions. You have something.
I actually lowered my hand because
that's okay, no problem. No problem. Now, can you give me one equation, which congruence equation, which has 3 solutions? Oh, okay, 1 minute. I made some waiting room thing. Okay. Yeah. Any one of you also can tell, I need a congruence equation that has 3 solutions. Any one of you. What is that I'm asking? Ax is congruent to b mod n. Your goal is to tell the value for A, value for B, value for n such that it has 3 incongruent solutions. So Shivani and Kathy, you also can tell because it is taking so much time. Ishan, you also can tell, okay? You already gave one, but that is not helping as much. I'll tell you what is helping or something.
So, you know, with 3, I can't think of anything.
Okay,
And
you
I'll
tell
you
me.
why.
I'll go slowly. So can you give me congruence which has only one incongruent solution? Okay, for that I'll give some conclusion here. I'll put here mod 8. Okay. I'll put more restrictions to you now. But it has only one incongruent solution. That means, now this is yours, this guy is yours, this guy is yours, right?
Hello, sir.
X is, of course, I'm putting. So now you have to tell A and B such that it has only one incongruent solution.
Can I just keep A as 1?
A as 1, okay. Now tell me this.
Yeah, and this keep as 3.
3, okay.
3 or 2.
Yeah, whatever, right? So, so you are telling that whenever A equal to 1, how many incongruent solutions are there? Whenever A is equal to 1, how many incongruent solutions are there?
That's just one, sir.
Only one, right? Why it is happening? So that also we need to think about. Don't tell now. How many incongruent solutions? See, whenever you told X is congruent to something modulus of any number, okay? See, I put some number here, right? B. So I need to say that X divides, N divides X minus B. Okay, it has at least one solution, we know that. B itself satisfied, B minus B. B is congruent to B. So it is always a solution. But incongruent, so I'll go to 0 to N also. I'll take B congruent to that. I divide B by N and I'll take that finally. So that automatically satisfies, not a problem. So, and it always has a solution. It is only one solution. See, you see that whenever A equal to 1, it always has a solution. How many are there? Only one. That it may be difficult for you to understand. But yeah, so okay. Now can you give me congruence? It has two solutions. Actually, I want to complete in 5 minutes, but it is going entire 1.5 hours today. So can you give me an equation which has two solutions? Two incongruent solutions, Ishan?
Yes, but again, I'm running into that 9x and 3 kind of example. So I don't want to give that anymore.
So that 4x is congruent to 2 mod 6.
4x is congruent to 2 mod 6. Okay. Okay. Any other example, Shivani, Kathy? No, you are actually giving what are already there. Do not give those. Now try to construct new things.
So you don't want the general recipe as to how to get this thing.
If you tell, so you are unable to get, now you are telling general recipe. That is the problem. In Indian mathematics, people directly see the answer. Yeah, so that they will remember for a longer time. So why that came and all, so they understand the proof. Okay, they read the proof, right? But actually, while they're giving the how to give the problem, they will unable to give. So why that is happening in the teaching also, we are telling the statement a priori, right? If you give that statement, everything is gone. That is not at all going to happen. So how to get the, so at the beginning, when people thought about those theorems, so they have so many examples, then they come to that conclusion, right? So why can't we do that experiment? Yeah, okay, sorry, I'm not saying anything. So once that is given, nothing. Okay, so these will give you that theorem. So if you already know, why can't you construct? Since I know, I can construct so many. That's why I'm asking you, can you give me one more? with two solutions only. Okay, go slowly. I am asking that give me A and B.
Yes, sir.
Ax is congruent to B modulo n. So give me the values of A, B, n such that it has exactly two incongruent solutions. So why this has two incongruent solutions? We checked.
Can I
So
tell you,
x
sir?
equal to 2 and 2, right? Yes. And x equal to 5. Yes, these two satisfied. Only these two, right? So then afterwards, any number 6k plus 2 will also work.
So
6k plus
6x
k
is congruent to 4 modulo 8.
can you repeat, ma'am?
6x is congruent to 4 modulo 8.
4 modulo 8.
8.
Yeah, this also works, right? 6s is congruent to 4 modulo 8. So what are
Sir, I
the
was
congruent solutions?
10x and 6 is
10x and 6, yeah.
modulo 8, but
Right. But so why can't we are confining? Yeah. So why you are actually looking even things here? Okay, that also we need to see. Okay. So all these examples are suggesting something. Okay. So if you look at those things, you will realize. Okay, we'll come back to that. 1 minute before going further. So what are the incongruent solutions to this?
2 and 6.
X equal to 2 will satisfy. 6 into 2 is 12. 12 minus 4 is 8. Okay. 6 into 6 is 36. 36 minus 4 is 32. So 2 comma 6, correct. These are the solutions. Right. Yeah. Now somebody now give me three incongruent solutions.
Sir, I have an equation. 5x congruent to 5 mod 15.
5 mod 15. Okay. Right.
Yes, so yes, it has a solution. 4 is a solution. 7 is a solution.
1 minute.
10 is
X is equal to 4, right?
Yes.
Okay, x equal to 4 satisfies. Okay, right. X equal to 4 and x equal to
7.
7.
X is equals to 10.
10. Okay.
Yes.
So
And,
we cannot have any other, right? Yeah. So 15 means I had to check 0, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 up to 14.
14. Yes.
Yeah. 0 is not satisfying. 1 is not satisfying. 1 if I substitute 5 minus
13 is also a solution.
Why 1 is not a solution?
Yes, 1 is a solution. Yes.
So x equal to 1 is a solution. X equal to
13 is also a solution.
So how many incongruent solutions you got?
5.
You got 5, not 3. That's okay. But very good question. But this is also useful to me. So what is this 5? Why 5? These numbers say 5 kahan se aaya hai? Okay, do not tell answer. Okay. And also the 6x equal to 4 mod 8. Only 2 incongruent solutions. A number say 2 kahan se aaya hai? 4x. Yeah, don't tell please.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Don't
yes.
tell, right. Okay, but you understood, right? Can you tell me now equation which has only 3 incongruent solutions? I am afraid of Ishan because Ishan will tell the main recipe. Yeah, but Ishan, go ahead. You want to give one? Yeah.
No, I'm not giving the recipe. Don't worry, sir. The thing is, you said that from the examples you are getting, you guess what the theorem should be, right? But the reason I didn't, so I actually have a bit of an argument as to why you can go. Why I'm not going to give the recipe, but I'm saying if you think about just the linear Diophantine equation, which we have done earlier, then the way to solve it is very natural, and then if you solve it, then you immediately see that you can have only a certain number of equations.
Oh, very good. That is a very good idea. Very good idea. 100% agree with you. Right.
Which is 100%. What I've done, because over here the problem is, we're still taking very small numbers, 5.
Right. Understand. Very good. That is understand. What is telling, I'll try to explain to everyone. What is telling is that this ax plus ny equal to b is taking this equation, and you know that once x0, y0 is a solution to this, then you know how to find all the solutions. Okay. What is that? How do you find all the solutions? X0 minus A by D, right? So somebody can recall that.
Yes, so actually n by d, because you see, if you add and subtract an times something, that's okay, but that's not the optimal way. That's going to give too big solution.
Yeah, correct.
So you divide by d to get.
Okay, yeah. So what he's telling is that so look at all the solutions. From that you can get the easily you can get the incongruent solutions. It is because we need to look 0 to n only. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, okay, fine, good. That is one approach. But the problem here is that they forget that they are not revising things, right? So that is one of the problems I'm facing. So if that is there to enter into their blood, then they will solve it. When I told here that part, so already I brought from that one only, so GCD business came from there, right? But even after giving also, that GCD is not, they are not getting, that's why I'm going like, yeah, okay. Yeah, so anyone now still give me one one congruence equation having exactly 3 incongruent solutions.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
3x is congruent to 6 mod 9.
3x is congruent to 6 modulo 9. Yeah, correct.
2, 5, and 8.
Yeah, okay. So what are the solutions we are telling? X equal to 2,
5, and 8.
X equal to 2, X equal to 5, X equal to 8. Okay, great. See, this is interesting, right? So you are giving the congruence equation, you are giving the solutions. So it will live for a longer period, right? Great. Why now it has more than 3 incongruent solutions? That is the now logic. So how do you get that? Okay. So now somebody can conclude that so theorem now. The linear congruence equation AX is congruent to B modulo n has solution if and only if, yeah, tell me first condition, necessary condition and sufficient condition first. How many incongruent we'll see later. If and only if
GCD of A n divides B.
GCD of A comma n divides B. Very good, great. Whoever told, thanks. This is the first thing. Further, the number of incongruent solutions. So till now, look at all the equations and try to conclude. Number of incongruent, but later we'll prove it. It is a guess, okay? So I wrote as a theorem, but we'll write conjecture and then we'll prove. Find the number of incongruent solutions. Then the number of further number of incongruent solutions of X congruent to B mod n is what is this number, right?
Sir,
yeah,
is it GCD of n?
Yes, GCD of A comma n. Who told that? Kaustup, yes. So yeah, it is GCD of A comma n. Okay, if so in the a priori you can write GCD, so exactly this many incongruent solutions will be there. So when GCD of A comma n equal to 1, then how many incongruent solutions are there? Only one, right? So then if for example my A equal to 1, that's what we are telling. If A equal to 1, GCD of 1 comma n is 1. So one incongruent solution only, right? So this is the theorem. So you try to prove it. So I do not want to give the proof today because a lot of discussion happened on this. So you try this. So this is the answer. This is the final conclusion. Okay, great. Yeah, take small break and think about all these things. So I'll give some 2-3 minutes time. because it is continuously we are doing, so some gap is required to you, right? So look at here, this 3, 9 GCD is 3. So 3 incongruent solutions. 5, 15 GCD is 5. So 5 incongruent solutions. So 6x is congruent to 4 mod 8. 8, 6 GCD is 2. So 2 incongruent solutions. 4, 6 GCD is 2. 2 incongruent solutions. 8, 1 GCD is 1. Only 1 incongruent solution. 9x is congruent to 2 modulo 3. 3, 9 GCD is 3. But 3 does not divide 2. So in the priori it is cancelled. It does not have solutions. So is it not beauty? Yeah. So okay. So take 2 minutes break and then we'll start. I'll give 2 minutes break. Is it okay, Kathy?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, can I ask you something different?
Yeah.
Not really related to the course.
Right.
You know, I've seen many times. I find it a bit easier to think. I find a bit of concrete thinking harder. So I don't. So
Sorry, can you repeat?
I actually find it a bit hard to think about examples or those things you would have noticed earlier also.
Yeah, right.
So how does one get better at that?
See, that is the thing is that you are actually you are a very good reader. So you are continuously reading so many things. So you are actually eager to know more and more. So that is creating problem. So that happens in a BSc level. So you people want to learn so many things. But instead, take only one topic, go depth in it. So slowly, so you need to go into that direction. Take one particular problem and so ask question to yourself while you are reading something. Okay, that also do not come. Now you are reading something, so you pick up some topic, then ask one question. In that question only now, so ask more things. So then automatically examples you needed, right? So you are actually still doing horizontal reading. So many things you are reading, right? Yeah, that is the main thing. So and another thing is that how to solve this problem is simply you need to do exercise problems. Exercise problem generally we not do. Okay, it is because our intention is that we need to learn more and more. That eagerness, I'm not saying that is a bad thing, but that is bad in other respect. Okay, so anyhow you cannot never become learn entire mathematics even in one subject also. So people use it to say that Gauss is the last person who know all maths before him. Yeah. Right? Now maths is improving like anything. So one cannot become strong in single area. Even you take a group theory, in group may you take a particular concept. I will ask one question, right? In group theory. What is the question I will ask you? What are all groups which have exactly 2 generators? Is the question clear?
Yes, sir, it is.
What are all groups which have only 1 generator? They are cyclic groups. Right, Ishan?
Yeah.
What is the question? My question? What are all groups which have exactly 2 generators? How do you characterize them? How do you solve them?
And there's no.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, Ishan.
No, Ishan. So are you saying that the generators can have some relations or they have no relations?
No, I am asking what is a cyclic group means?
Generated by an element.
Yeah, right. That much only. Now I am asking that, okay, it is not a cyclic, but it is generated by 2 elements only. Right?
Classify them. That's what you're
classify and find out what are those at least. So in this process, what is that I need to see first? I need to collect so many examples now. Right? Even then there is a concept called, first of all, symmetric group. Is it generated by 2 elements? Why symmetric group I had to go? So there is a case that I want to see that every Cayley's theorem is there with us. Cayley's theorem says that every group is isomorphic to subgroup of. So if that is there, then okay. Now the actual question coming to me is that if the original group is generated by 2 elements, every subgroup of also generated by 2 elements. Answer is no. One case may true hai, cyclic group may true hai. So now look at this way. Now you are not looking textbook, you are not looking anything. Try to answer this one only, but you do not do that. Ishan, you do not do that. Why you do not do that? Because you have other courses, you have other things. So you need to allocate only to this problem, right? So you do not find time to that. So that is there the issue comes. So, but you see that if you keep on doing only this question, so you will get a lot of things, lot of questions. So actually, people actually ask this question, and there are a lot of research is done. For example, growth. Somebody studied growth. Okay. Yeah. So I can tell many things like this. So, but now we'll get back to the course. Okay. I maybe answered partially to your question, but one thing is that you try to develop solving exercise problems. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So come back to this. Okay. Now I will today, because of the limited time, so I'll try to do other things. Actually, I thought of going to Chinese remainder theorem, but I will do that in the next class. But today I want to do something else. Okay. So for that we will see that. So for that also I'll motivate like this. I have a question. What is my question? So let n be a natural number. Is n is a prime or not? Okay, I want to check. I want an algorithm, right? So, but luckily we have one thing that if n is prime, then we have that a power n is congruent to a modulo n for every a belong to z. It is very, very big thing. Every integer satisfies this equation. Okay. So n is prime implies this part. Okay, this we know. This is Fermat's little theorem se aaya tha. But there are many numbers. So for example, if you take 6, a power 6 is congruent to a modulo 6, it cannot be true. Okay, you can easily figure out that. But the problem is that about 2000 years, people thought that converse is also true. What do you mean by that? A power n equal to a mod n for every integer, then n is a prime number. But bad luck is that it is not true. But up to 2000 years, people thought that it is true and they are using it. They are doing some mistakes also, right? So converse of Fermat's little theorem is not true. Okay. So then there is a concept of pseudo primes. Okay. Concept of pseudo primes came, and absolute pseudo primes. Okay. So I'll try to discuss these sometime. Absolute pseudo primes, like that things came. So once this is there, again there is a problem, right? Now I do not have a very nice condition. So given natural number when it is a prime or not. So people tried that different necessary conditions, put more necessary condition, then the probability of given number becomes prime increases. Okay. So this is a necessary condition. N is prime. This is a necessary condition. So this is violated, then n is not a prime. It is composite, right? So like that, putting so many necessary conditions and the probability increases. So they are called randomized algorithms. They came in the picture. So they are doing wonderful job also. So as I told you in 2002, this is 2000 years I told, but this is exactly in year 2002. So there is a polynomial time algorithm came. But before that also there are some algorithms are available. Okay. If and only if algorithms are also available, but they are of no use. So that I want to discuss today, one of them. Okay. So let us see. Okay. So let us see that. So now, so I want to see this. For that we will look at certain things. Okay. So let us take p is equal to 3. Okay. So now p is equal to 3. I take numbers 1 and 2. So 1 into 2 is congruent to dash modulo 3. Okay. Now take n is equal to p is equal to 5. You know this is a prime number, right? So 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 is congruent to dash modulo 5. Okay. So yeah, so this is the question. Later we will try to see. P is equal to 7, then what is that I have to ask for? 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5 into 6 is congruent to dash modulo 7. Okay. So somebody can help me here. Hello? You tell me whatever you like.
Yes. You're saying
No, Ishan, wait. Yeah, let
Sorry,
other
sorry.
people come up. Yeah. Yeah. So can you tell me somebody 2 is congruent to dash modulo 3? Hello?
2 is congruent to
Hello.
5 modulo.
Yeah, tell.
Sorry, 2 is congruent to
2 is congruent to? We are unable to listen to you. Yes, 2 is congruent to? Okay, somebody else? Mahek?
So 2 mod 3.
Yeah, 2, right. So 2 is congruent to 2 mod 3. Okay. Now here is 2 into 3 into 4, how much? 6 into 24. 24 is congruent to
4 mod 5.
4 mod 5. Okay. Okay, one more question. So it may be a little tougher, but let us see. 2 into 3. So I'm looking for 7. So what you can do is that the numbers which are more than 7 you can kill out also, right? So 2 into 3, 6 into 4, like that multiply, and can you tell me here what is this? Okay, let us go slowly. So 2 into 3 into 4 is how much? First 24. 24 I can write it as 21 plus 3 into 5 into 6. Not a problem, right? So now it is already, I do not worry about this, right? So when I do modulo 7, this is I can rule out, and I need to figure out this part only. Okay now? Okay. Now 3 into 5 into 6 is how much? So let us go even here also. 3 into 5 is how much? 15. 15 can be written as 14 plus 1 into 6, right? So this also I can rule out. So it is 6. Is it okay? Is it okay? Yeah, you can check that it is also congruent to 6 modulo 7, right? So now somebody can tell me now what is, can you tell me for prime now? Up to p minus 1 is congruent to dash modulo 7. Dash modulo p. Yes. Any one of you?
P minus
P
1.
minus 1.
Very good. So you guessed p minus 1. Okay. So is it p minus 1 is congruent to minus 1 modulo p? Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So now can you say, now I can replace p minus 1 by minus 1 also. So what is the question now? 1 into 2 into 3 into up to p minus 1 is congruent to minus 1 modulo p. Okay, this is our guess only. It is our guess. It is a conjecture. Okay, so that means this is actually how much? This is, how can I write this 1 into 2 into up to p minus 1?
P minus 1 factorial.
Yeah, so p minus 1 factorial is congruent to minus 1 modulo p. Okay, so p is a prime number. It is like this. Okay, actually before proving, so we'll ask some question. So what is that question I want to ask is that, suppose I'm going now reverse direction. Suppose n is a natural number. N is a natural number and n minus 1 factorial is congruent to minus 1 modulo n. Okay, this implies n is prime or not. Okay, don't worry about the previous things, whatever we've done. Okay, new question I'm asking. Okay, so this is one direction. We observed that if n is prime, then this is happening. Okay, it is observed, but we are not yet proved. But that is helping me to ask this question. If n is a natural number, n minus 1 is factorial is congruent to minus 1 mod n, then n is prime. Is it true or not? That is the question, right? How do you attack the problem? How do you attack the problem? So let us suppose, in order to check, let us see that n is composite. N is composite and n minus 1 factorial congruent to minus 1 mod n. So do you face any problem here? If you face problem, this is both are not satisfied together. So this I am already assuming it is true. I am giving this, right? This is true. So if n is composite, if I am getting a problem here, then n has to be prime. So I am done this, right? Okay, so let us see that. Go slowly, don't worry. So I am telling now.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
I don't know this way, but we can just give one counter example to show that it is not true, right?
Okay, counter example is one thing, but I am because of lack of time now, I have another 6 minutes. I'm
Okay.
going a little faster now. Sorry for not giving time to you people, right? Yeah. So I am also asking simple questions only. See, n minus 1 factorial is congruent to minus 1 mod n. Okay, I'm taking n is composite. Okay, I'm going slowly only. So n minus 1 factorial is congruent to 1 mod n. What is the meaning of this first? What is the meaning of this, right? I'm now not asking you. It is actually nothing but n minus n divides n factorial plus 1. That is clear, right? Nothing. I'm not doing anything. Very simple things only I'm writing. Now n is composite means what, Mehak? N is composite means what? Go fast, please.
Means there exists some A and B
Ah,
such that n equals to A into B.
So you need to simply say that there exists A such that n is equal to A into B. What is, but you need to tell about A.
A is between 1 and n.
I know you will tell. That's why I'm asking you. So there exists A between 1 and such that n is equal to A into B. Of course, B is also between 1 and n. Fine. Now what is happening now? Now A is between 1 and n. Here I'm giving more time to you. Think very, very carefully. So you need to get a contradiction somehow. A is strictly licensed between 1 and n. Okay. If I tell you, then it is going to last entire thing from now onwards. So now you have to get a contradiction. If n is composite, I gave you all the recipes here. So n divides n minus 1 factorial plus 1. This is there with us. And A is a number between 1 and n, strictly less than n. So and A divides n also. A divides n, right? N equal to AB. So A divides n and n divides this quantity. A is a strictly licensed between 1 and n. What is the problem you will face? I know Ishan will tell, but any other person, I'll clearing now. If anyone want to talk, please talk. Give explanation. Why this is a problem. So I will ask Kathy, you got the thing?
Yes, sir.
You got it. Okay. If no one will respond, I will ask you. Okay, Kathy?
Okay, sir.
Because better to have some change in the voice always. Somebody else will tell, it will go much better. Kaustav, after this you have a class.
No, sir.
No, then I hope I can take extra 10 minutes, right? I understand you are tired, but you are joining little late then.
Sorry to interrupt.
But I only had to take 5 minutes only more. Yeah. Yes, Ishan.
Sorry, I have a meeting at 12:30. So can I go at 12:30?
Yeah, yeah. Please.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, please. Now, yeah, please go ahead. Now tell me, what is the problem? This type of things we done. Be focused. A divides n minus 1 factorial plus 1. So you need to use the only one thing. A is strictly lies in between 1 and n. A is strictly lies in between 1 and n. A is less than n. So then there is something related to something. A is less than n.
A?
Yes. Yes,
Just a
Kaustav.
second, sir.
Okay. Manan, yeah, go ahead. If A is less than n, then what happens? What are the ingredients here? There are certain things are available here. So suddenly the n minus 1 factorial is here. Why you are not at all thinking here? In the problem, n minus 1 factorial is there. Okay, what we can do then? Yeah, so Kathy, you can go ahead.
Sir, this A is in between 1 and n, so A divide n minus 1 factorial.
Yeah, A divides n minus 1 factorial. And since A divides n implies,
A divides n minus 1 factorial plus 1.
A divides n minus 1 factorial plus 1 also. Right? N is dividing n minus 1 factorial plus 1. So A divides n, so A divides n minus 1 factorial plus 1. Then what is the problem? At least now, somebody else. Even now also you are not coming up. There is no intention at all. Then for me also no intention at all. I will stop here only.
I think Mahima told this before also.
Mahima, yeah, go ahead, Mahima. Mahima or Mehak you are telling? Mahima only.
Sir, Mehak also. They told these things before also.
Okay, I not listened. Okay, so Mehak, can you tell? They told earlier for other problem, right? That's what you are telling.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Same
yeah,
thing.
yeah. I know that. That's what it is. See, A divides. So A divides x and A divides x plus 1.
You can show that A divides 1.
Yeah, A divides 1, right? So that is a problem. So A is greater than 1. How A can divide 1, right? So that is a contradiction. So we proved that if n minus 1 factorial is equal to minus 1 mod n, then n has to be prime. But now we need to show other direction. That is what we thought earlier. If n is a prime, this is true. Okay, just I'll state the theorem. So what is the theorem? So let n belongs to n. N belongs to n. Then with that I will stop today. Then n is prime. If and only if. Somebody help me. No. Bad luck. What I can do? N minus 1 factorial is congruent. Congruent to 1 minus 1 modulo n, right? Yeah, right. So n minus 1 factorial is congruent to minus 1 modulo n, full stop. So we done one direction. This direction we proved. N minus 1 factorial is congruent to minus 1 mod n, then n is prime. Now n is prime, you need to show that n minus 1 factorial is congruent to minus 1 mod n. But we checked for 3, 5, 7. We checked for these, but we need to, in general, we need to prove. So let us suppose that P is a prime number. P is prime and P is greater than or equal to 3. Okay, let us 5. Then try to prove it. Okay. so think about this answer. We'll discuss in next class onwards. I will stop with this. Okay. This is called Wilson's theorem. Wilson's theorem. So it is giving the characterization when is given number is prime. But why this is not useful? So in order to check n is prime or not, I have to check that n minus 1 factorial is congruent to minus 1 mod n. But why this is not useful? Though even though it is a very if and only if condition, why this is not useful? To check n is prime, what is that I have to compute?
Factorial part is
N minus
very
1
big.
factorial. N minus 1 factorial is very, very, very large. Okay, generally we look for big primes. Big primes by n minus 1 factorial is very large. So computing that and checking that is very, very hard. So it grows very fast. So that's why even though it is Wilson's theorem is giving if and only if condition, but it is not of much use for checking given number is prime or not. Okay, great. Okay, I'll stop with this.